Alright, here we go again, playing Wounded Waters Bleeding against HME 6 with the cross-healing build that we've been playing lately, which starts roiling and goes into Waters Renew. And let's see how this game treats us today. Quite like the matchup, honestly. We will see how it goes. So I think initially that is not the worst explore. This is, yeah, on board F. That is an interesting board in terms of Dahan position. They're all topside, and if I need Dahan bottom, then that will be hard. So let's see what our initial miners are and if it's gonna become relevant. I guess there's only one power here that has our elements. I mean, you could play Drift down turn 2, and I would actually solve land 1. Do we want that? Probably not, right? Currently I'm thinking that the best outcome here is that we play steam buns and kill one of the explorers. They build a town. The next turn they ravage, and we will be at 3 blight on the board, which is the perfect number against HME. We would take one additional turn of the HME 6 rule with the double explorers, and we would have water to push 2 explorers in slow. So that seems good. Portents of Disaster, I think I'll have enough here. Delusions of Dangers, I think I'd rather play the on-element card. And Drift Down, probably the better card in a vacuum for sure, but I really want that slow innate. So we need to... It might cost us a presence, but if that is so, then I'm willing to pay that. At least we're not going Serene, right, where we have to be careful about every presence. So we put 1 presence in land 1, we kill that explorer using steam vents, which fucking expensive card, man. And then we flip the event and ignore it, and we build in land 1, and we skip the disease in land 8, or well, skip the ravage with the disease. And then we need to mining boom. Let me put that here as a reminder. Which land would I like to mining boom? Let me count here. I'm counting 6 pieces, so if I'm mining boom it goes up to 7. Let's do that. We first build, and then we replace an explorer with a town. So that leaves the land in this state. Now it's at 7 pieces, and one of them is the blight, which we're going to pull out momentarily. And then we explore into wetlands. Now with the board being as it is, that means every explorer has the option of being solved by Swell and Spill. Now I still have the option of what to do around land 7, but I think what I want to do here is push these 2 into land 2, and then take 2 blight next turn, and then try to prevent as much blight as I can the following turns. I'm probably going to take blight again, but there's some drafts and some events and whatnot that prevent that, and going blighted island is not the end of the world here either. So that is interesting. I only have water draft, which I guess good in the long term, huh? But in the short term I need to go animal. So I'm gonna play Boon of Corrupted Blood here probably. Push that into here, and I would love to pull that blight into there, but actually, you know, I could, instead of moving this. No. Like, I'm currently gonna lose these 2 presents, and I can only move 1, but I think I'd rather move this one. It's a bit annoying to have my blight here, but I have a second blight there again, just in terms of how the coverage is. So one more thing I could be doing is I could Uncanny Melting, but that would blight me this turn. And also the issue is that we said we were going to force Roiling, right? Which means we need to heal animal this in the next turn. I'm not gonna skip element marker. Like, in theory I could just not take a marker for 1 turn, and then I can play whatever I want. but it delays my power spike too much. So I think that is kind of what happens. This prevents the blight here. It doesn't solve it for next turn, but I mean that is fine. Out of these, I could probably see Roiling Bog and Snagging Thorn. It might actually be able to defend a land against the adversary. The adversary tends to have a bunch of small-ish lands blighting, so why don't we take that? And I don't think we need Blight Heal, because I think that the Blight Heal will probably not prevent us going blighted. I'm not worried about running out of blight in total, I'm only worried about flipping the blight card. But if the Blight Heal cannot delay flipping the blight card, and we're never gonna run out of blight anyway, then what does it actually do, right? I guess protection against events and whatnot. Alright, I think that is then the line of play we follow. We heal animal, play Boon of Corrupted Blood, we snipe that explorer. So now this, honestly, this land has a fair chance of solving itself, and if that happens, then okay. Then we take one more turn of escalation, of HME 6, but even that would be okay. So, Provincial Seat. On each board, choose a land, coastal land, choose a land with city built there. So that's kind of rough. I don't want to do it on land 2, because I kind of need the disease to skip the ravage. So the only other option is land 8, which means this now is at 7. And after the ravage, it will be at 8 pieces, which means we need to pull out of there next turn. Which means my Blight Gather, for example, cannot go into land 7, where I intended to use it on. I mean, there's other options too. I could, for example, draw to the Water's Edge or whatnot, but okay. And then push up to 2 Explorers or 1 tower from a land with Blight. Now, see, that is nice. Now, because of the options being so limited here, I kind of have to push it into here or into there. Now this is currently at 7. With these two it would be at 9. With the Blight it would be at 10, which means I need to get rid of a bunch of stuff out of there before the next quick phase, or I need to start pushing Explorers into here. Of course, pushing into land 4 opens us up for a couple of bad Explorer. And I mean, so here's a line of play we could be doing. Could push that into here. And then it ravages. Oh no, it doesn't ravage, right? Because it's not in the build slot. Never mind. Yeah. So yeah, that seems correct. I push those into here. And mining lands cause ravage actions in the build slot, but this is not in the build slot, so who cares if there's 3 explorers? It's not Russia where 3 explorers always ravages. Alright, so this is at 7 and it will be at 8. This is at 3 and it is stable. And I can decide whether or not I want to save that. And I think I want to not save that. I think I'd rather turn off the escalation. Especially seeing that I'm not going to take any blight next turn. So for the target of Rally to the Defense of Distant Kin, I'll choose to gather into land 5, get the Stahan closer to the bottom half of the board. Then there's no fear card, and then there's Ravage. I lose their presence, which, fine by me. They lose their tone, and that Tahan is wounded. And then they blight here. This is now at 8. And then I need to Mining Boom. I think I'm Mining Boom land 1. I mean, it goes against the principle of, like, Sands is now a really bad explorer. And generally speaking, my principle is that you want to try to set it up such that there is no really bad explorer. But HME doesn't really have many options of triggering that, and if it happens, then we can deal with it, I think. So we know that this explorer is not Sands, and we know that the next explorer could be Sands, but the explorer after that is not Sands either, because the explorer after that is Mining Boom. Salt deposits. Alright. Anyway, we mining boomed. I know this mountain, and now I'm pretty happy that I did not mining boom in here. And of course, if I mining boom in there, then I'd be pretty upset if I also draw jungle, right? So I only explore with one explorer because of the... what is it? I only explore with one explorer because of... yeah, I turned off HME 6 because I have 4 bright on the board. Now, one downside is that I would love to snipe that, but my presence placement is atrocious, so I'm sniping that for 1 fear and that's it. I'll probably be able to do something about that. For example, I could Roiling Renew and snacking Thorn that next turn. We'll see. Alright, we are kind of to a shaky start in my opinion, but we're still on track. I'm thinking I probably don't forget Boon of Corrupted Blood yet. Actually, let me do that. So that allows me to actually place a presence instead of just moving a presence. And I think I'd like to be in here. But let's draft our last miner first. So we really haven't seen any good animal cards. That makes this next turn annoying. Treacherous Waterways could work on land 4. Or in land 6. I need to draw that out of here. I could Haunt of Lands and Numbers, but ideally I stabilize, right? At this amount of everything. So, in order to heal animal here, I need to play at least one water animal card since I've still not seen any animal. So, ideally I would hit level 2 Sanguinary Taint, but that means I play these 2 cards. And in terms of elements, that is perfect. But in terms of effect on the board, it's all in slow, which means that this ravages and cascades. Cause, I mean, I can't like pull it out of here. I have to pull this. It's the last condition. So I'm probably not gonna do that. I'm probably gonna do that and then either play Roiling Bog or play Treacherous Waterways. And I'm thinking I'm not sure which of them is better. I can probably decide that. Actually, I should probably decide that now. I could also Renewing Rain. Now I need to... whatever the card is that I draft here, either it's quick or I play it next turn. Does Renewing Rain actually help me here? It lets me let one of the lands go through in 2 turns. That seems irrelevant. Let's take Treacherous. It's at least 0 cost, right? So, and I think that Bloodwater and Bloodlust is good next turn because it basically then right when the Salt Deposits card sits, right? Actually, I could play it this turn. It's an insurance against Nadite coming up. So let's play it this turn. And I need to then play Treacherous Waterways, and I think I need to play it on land 4. Or I need to play Roiling Bog and Snacking Thorn. Let me think through that real quick. If I play Roiling Bog, then they ravage for 1 damage and nothing happens. And this builds. The next turn they'll be at a town here and 3 explorers here. That seems better than the alternative. So let's do that, and then next turn I have these 2, and that should actually work together with the slow. So I now need to set this to animal and set this to animal. Yeah, this is another one of the games where you really see only water cards, so you would love to go full water, but since we are committed to this rolling waters into Waters Renew path, we kind of have to force play suboptimal cards at suboptimal times just to make it work. So I gather that into here. Actually, let's gather it into here. So this is now back at 7, and we don't lose. Then we Roiling Bog. I really hope we don't get a +1 damage event. I don't think there's that many +1 damage events that would act here, but there's probably at least one. I mean, some of them don't actually affect explorers, right? So, but yeah. And then I don't get any level 2 innate this turn, which is, I always hate that on turn 3. But what can you do? Let's flip the event and see what it is. Lesser Spirits in Peril, so that one is good. And I think the correct line of play here is to pay for it by forgetting Roiling Bog. So I would need 4 energy, and the only way I can afford that realistically is by forgetting a card. I mean, I could discard Trot to the Water's Edge and reclaim next turn, but I'd really rather not. It kind of cost me a good turn, a really good turn. So let me read through the rest. Maybe that has an effect too. I get to push from lands with Beast, but that is not relevant, and I get to gather Dahan into lands with the setup symbol. Sadly, land 4 doesn't have that. Otherwise, I'd just gather 2 Dahan in there and it'd be grand. I think I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that. I guess I have to. We'll see. So, the top part of Lesser Spirits. 1 energy, I guess okay. And then remove Blight, I'd rather not flip. And destroy, yeah, I'd just take bottom, I think. So, I cannot forget Draw to the Water's Edge. I need a card with this precise elements if I want to hit the Waters Renew threshold. I'm not going to forget Wreck with Twinning Grief. Wreck with Twinning Grief is my best card. And that means if I forget a card, it's gotta be Roiling Bog. I cannot pay 3 energy. I could discard a card and pay an energy. Or I could discard both cards and just reclaim next turn. Reclaiming is not 100% illegal. Turn 4. I kinda don't like it, but it's absolutely like you still hit your power turn 5. You just kinda miss your power turn 4. But it would help us, like if I forget this from play, then what happens is that I lose one of my innates next in slow. I think I'd rather lose one of the innates in slow. Forget that card and got a permanent plant element, I think. If I have permanent plant, then I can do shit like reclaim loop, Bloodwater and Bloodlust perhaps. And then push on each board, push 1 beast to land without buildings, and that gets me 1 fear in land 4. I did not read that correctly, but it is fine. I could have also use it on here. Maybe eat explorers eventually. I'm not sure which I want. Let's put it here. And then I have to gather, and I assume I cannot choose land 3 because I probably have to gather if I can, and I actually can. I'll just get into here then. And let's see what the fear card does. Add, yeah, well, I wish I was in here now. I guess it doesn't make that much of a difference. Yeah, Striven Explorer, yay. Then we ravage, but nothing happens. Then we build. We build a town in land 6, and we don't build in land 4 because they ravage, and I guess the strife is gone again. But yeah, they don't build because they ravaged, right? And then I have to mining boom. I would, if I had a strong slow, I would mining boom land 4 and just solve it in slow. I don't have a strong slow. But perhaps it's good enough. I have Draw to the Water's Edge next turn. So having 2 towns in here might not be the end of the world. I guess that is what we do then. Because the alternative is land 2, but I don't want to lose the disease, or land 8, but then again it's less conditioning, or land 6. And then that's entirely unsolvable. The issue is Draw to the Water's Edge I kinda wanted to use on land 6. I cannot use it on land 6 and land 4. So I might just gamble land 4, honestly. I think that is the best expected value play here. Oh, but that only works. No, that does no longer work once I scale. Once I mining boom here. I think if I mining boom that land, then it just kinda blights. Or I could just do it here. It would give me the best chance of preventing blight in the short term. It would perhaps be bad in the long term. But perhaps not all that terrible. I don't have that many cards, man. I forgot 2 cards already. Which means I'm gonna play these cards a bunch. That's okay. Playing Bloodwater and Bloodlust a bunch is not bad. I still have that in this though, honestly. I could use it on land 4. I do have Roiling. It does the damage. I should consider that. Now next quick I don't have anything. Even if I do that here, I could... as long as it's still on mining land, I could skip that with Bloodwater and Bloodlust, I suppose. Yeah, I think the correct line of play is to do it here. And if it comes up, then I Bloodwater and Bloodlust this land, otherwise I Bloodwater and Bloodlust land 4. So we mining boomed land 2, removing the disease and cried, and then we flip into wetlands, which, yeah, much appreciated. And then we have to explore due to the escalation into 2 lands that are not mountain or wetlands. We choose land 1, so it's now mining land, which means it will not explore next turn. We choose land 5. I guess we don't. We choose land 2. Yeah, and then we have slow, which lets us at least, sanguinary retain. Now I have to think about it. I could use it on land 4, and then... Actually, you know what? I could set this to water now. No, I cannot. I had to do that in quick, specifically to animals. So sorry, in growth, specifically to animals, so that I could heal for animal. Oh well. Then that means I am sanguinary retained, and I can either... Actually, no, there's only one correct line of play. I snipe that explorer, push that Dahan into here, snipes that Dahan. That is easy, right? Alright, that seems good. I play these cards, I go to 3 plays, I gain an energy. I debate gaining a card instead of placing 2 presents and gaining 3 energy. So do I still need sacred sites? And the answer is I have no sacred site powers left. So no, let's get spread out then. I would like full coverage of the board. Currently I have it. I wouldn't hate being in land 1. There's some cards I could draft that help there. No, I think my 0 cost defense are mostly 0 range defense. Not that relevant. Let's be here. Move the sacred site to a better place maybe. Not sure. So with treacherous waterways I could either solve land 4 or land 7. Of course I'd rather solve them both, but I've lost one of my innates last turn, so this heals water basically automatically. And then next turn I would like for my Waters Renew to have a target, so I'd rather have them build here, I guess is the answer. That seems good. Alright. And now the only question is, do I want to draft a card? Next turn I gain 2 energy with reclaim, so I'll be at 3 energy. And I'll have at least 1 0 cost card, so I think drafting a miner here is fair, and I think I need all the drafts I can get. Cycles of Time and Tide, great card, and the rest is also pretty good, but they're animal. At this point I'm looking for water. Water Sun is good too, because I have a plant element, and lets me get around playing Drought to the Wasage every turn. Alright. So, actually, there's one thing I think I want to do here. I want to ensure that... How do I do it with this town? I wanted to draw that maybe into land 1. Actually, I could play that now instead of Drought to the Wasage. No, I still need that, or want that at least. Yeah, I still think I'd do that, right? Pull that into here. It's a little bit larger now that I would like land 1, but I can live with that. And then treacherous waterways, I push that into here, which has 6 now, and 6 is fine. It no longer has its disease, sadly. Which reminds me, what land did I actually Bloodwater and Bloodlust last turn? And the answer is I didn't. I forgot to do that. So it would have been land 2. As I said, I was going to use land 2 unless land 4, land 8 came up or something. So let's do that. I mean, there's an even better line of play that relies on me doing that, but it would feel bad to do that now. So I think that's the end of fast, and then we go into bureaucrats just funding. I think I'm okay. This is 5. Actually, I'm lucky. I'm at 10 buildings if I see that correctly. 10 buildings means that I skip 1 build. Nice. Then 2 fear per board with 2 beasts and more. Good that I did not forget Bloodwater and Bloodlust. So 2 fear for that. And then coordinated defense. 5 defense if I have presence and Dahan in the same land. So this is now defended for 5. We ravage. They die, they die. They build in land 7, which is good. And then I'm mining boom. I don't have the Dahan adjacent to here, but I do have a bit of Dahan push this turn. So I can probably get the Dahan adjacent to there, probably from here to there to there. So that means I will use Water's Renew on that land, which means I will kill a town and replace 1 invader, and that means I believe that I can mining boom in here. And perhaps this even then partially wreck in there. Okay. So that land will be mining boomed. And then, well, I guess just was mining boomed. And then salt deposits. Actually, we skip 1 build, right? I don't even get to check to... Okay, so... This land was at 1 explorer. And I wanted to build in there. But then, bureaucrats are just finding skipped that. So this was actually how it looked like. And then I'm mining boom into this instead of the city as well. So this is the state, the correct state. At least I caught it sort of in time. Salt deposits. We explore into all of these lands because they're not mining lands, the rest is mining lands. Now let's start reducing the mining land count. I would like to set that to animal and sanguinary taint 1 land, and then maybe what do I Svalin spell here? I'm not sure yet, honestly. I could do it in land 6. So land 4 swelling spell could prevent 3 builds. That was kind of nice. So how does that look like? Maybe we do just that. Maybe we just focus on preventing builds this turn. 1 fear. Push that into here. That is actually push it into here. I think that is fine. Push it into here. 1, 2, 6. 6 is fine. Push that beast into here. No, I don't think I can do that. The issue is again that I need to have 2 Dahan adjacent to that at the end of everything. And if I push that into here, I no longer have it, and if I push it into here, I no longer have it. So then maybe we will revert real quick. I wanted to push out of here because it's a land where I can prevent 2 builds, but if I do prevent 2 builds, then I can no longer use Water's Renew on that. That is annoying. So sanguinary taint target could be land 6, would not be bad, right? Into land 1 or land 8. Maybe we start with that. We kill that. That must be correct. And push it into here and kill that. Okay. And then I need to find a target for Wreck and Silence Bill that still leaves Tutahan in there. So there's another line of play that goes here. And let's just stay with that. Def did enough. Alright, we Silence. No, that is Wreck with Pain and Grief from, say. If I push these into here, let me check that. What is the effect of that? On the next turn, Svartas Renew, it kills a town, replaces a town, and then defense. And that should be fine. So that I wreck with Pain and Grief out of land aid in preparation for the actual Ravage. And then I have one fear and one use of Swell and Spill. And I don't really see a great move here. Like, if I could just push this where I wanted this Dahan, then I could just push that to here and that beast to here and prevent 3 builds with that. Maybe I can still prevent 2 builds. And that is push that into here and push that into here, and I guess we don't push the Dahan. I guess I could push the Dahan into here, which would not be bad. It also means that I could push the Explorer into here. Yeah, that seems fine, although it's a little bit... I think I'd rather do it like this. So what happens here is that this is now no longer... This is now exactly defended, as we will see in a second. So we gain and that. Alright, so let's just throw out some cards. I want Bloodwater and Bloodlust in preparation for the salt deposits. I want to gain a minor. My minor gains this game have been interesting. I don't even know, man. I'm never gonna play any of these cards. I guess G take Twin Days because it's the best card individually. Then... do I want Draw to the Water's Edge here? I think the answer is probably not this turn now. That means I need to play Cycles of Time and Tide, and then I need to play Wreck with Pain and Grief. And with that, I get to hit my full Waters Renew. And now what I can do here is I gather that Dahan and add one beast that kills that, and then I replace that with a Dahan, and then I defend for 3. So I could have pushed one more Explorer into this land instead of land 2, but this is now exactly defended, and I kind of like that because, you know, in lands with Blight, if you draw a +1 damage event and it cascades, that's just a lot of bad that can happen. And then Cycles of Time and Tide. We added Dahan to land 1 and kill that Explorer. And because adding Dahan to lands is actually damage. And we're still on 4 Blight, and everything is perfect. I mean, this is only 1 fear, but you know. Years of Little Rain, we're getting all the... Okay, I mean, I will take that. I wish I could forget Gift of Twin Dice. Which of these is worse? Trick question, it's just humans. And yeah, sure, I'll take Years of Little Rain. No problem. That allows me to add 1 presence. And I think I'm going energy track here. I mean, is there a world in which I go this and then start Reclaim Looping at 4 place next turn? I mean, perhaps that is just game winning. I mean, that is game winning too, right? How much energy do I get? No, I think I need a little bit more energy because before I can start Reclaim Looping on 4 plays. So I don't have enough good zero costs for that. on an energy income of 2, you can't really reclaim loop 4 minus unless you have a couple of zero costs. So let's just add that here. That had me forget a card again, okay. Then we trigger use of Little Rain. So this dies, which I guess, let me undo that again. I have 1 damage here, 1 damage there. This way the beast doesn't die, because the beast does not cause the death of that town. Nothing happens in here. I think we just kill two explorers here. Seems good, right? And then the canny defense, which, you know, fair, but not needed. Warrior of the Interior. Oh, very probably. We removed this one. I'm okay with that. Man, my fear is so bad. Communities in disarray, minus damage, who cares? Invaders do not heal damage. Okay, sure. Let's ravage. Alright, at least board state is kinda good. Salt deposits. They don't do anything. Just as God wanted it to be. I need to mining boom somewhere, and I can only mining boom in land 2, man, that is atrocious. Oh man. Because it's the only land with invaders. Sorry, with explorers. And then we... wait. Jungle explore. Okay. And I get to escalate into 2 lands. And I would choose lands that have beast and that have already come up, like land 3 and land 7. Alright, we're in slow now. We kind of have 3 lands that are doing things that are relevant, and 1 land that does things that are not all that relevant. We have a bunch of ways to solve land 1. I could probably push everything in land 2. Bloodwater and Bloodlusted, and then next turn Waters Renew, defend land 8. That seems like a good line of play. Okay, let's do that. We play Wreck with Pain and Grief, push that into here, and then we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect. Wait, 6 is too much, but now we do that. Now it's back down to 5, and it's diseased. That was Bloodwater and Bloodlust. Silence Will I didn't need at all here, huh? Maybe I should start pushing out of here. I have a lot of good things in here that I don't really need. I mean, I could also just push out of here this turn. But then what does my try to hit the Water's Edge do next turn? Maybe I just don't play it. Could play the same 3 cards again, huh? After reclaiming. No, I'm not gonna reclaim next turn. So... the question then is... no, I want to try to the Water's Edge on land 1, so that doesn't need to be pushed with Swaddle Spell. But let's add the fear of Swaddle Spell anyway. I don't want to push out of here too, either. Maybe I'll just push out of here. Push that into here and push that into here and kill the Explorer. That works for me. Okay, 10 passes. We open that. We play this and this card. Which, you know, because of... and I guess we draft a miner, because why not, right? We now have enough energy gain that we can just draft cards. Thriving Choke Fungus. I don't hate that. I mean, it's probably not relevant, but I mean, it's also a blight ad. Sorry, a disease ad, right? Can I this turn? Let me think about that. No, I cannot play it this turn. Alright, let's add a presence to, say, land 4, then everything is in range 2, or sorry, in range 1 of a sacred site. Then this is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 invaders, so it's not lost condition. And it's diseased, so it's not gonna blight. And even if we disease ignore, it only blights once, which just flips us to us. Actually, so here's something I forgot. It's gonna ravage twice currently. Maybe that is okay. Okay, there's another line of play here. So the issue with the strategy here is that in build it also ravages because it's a mining land. And in build it's no longer going to be diseased. But I could, for example, just draw to the water's edge, these two into here, and then the only mining land on the board is that. And then I could use Water's Renew into that land instead. Let me look at what that would do. So with the current contents of the land, I would kill a town. I would replace the city, and then I would defend against 5. That seems not good enough. I could defend against 4 though if I push out the Explorer, but I can't because this does not target that. Is that really all I can do? Kill a town? I mean, it would still be okay, but... And then the alternative is to make it a non-mining land. I cannot do that though. I mean, I could, honestly. I could throw everything on it and then make it a non-mining land and then just land 8 goes through though. Huh. Or I could just take the blight and go blighted here. That would be alright with me too, honestly. I would need to solve it next turn, but I could do that. But maybe it's worth attempting to solve it. I have a bunch of fear cards and stuff. I'll attempt to solve that. So pull these two into land 4. And probably wiles it. So that if it comes up, it's not immediately a mining land. Then that was draw to the water's edge. Then we Water's Renew into here. We pull that. We add that beast. And that is enough damage to kill that town. And then we replace that city with that Dahan. And then we defend for 3. And there's a good range of events and other effects that do good things here. But we first have to draw them, right? Also, the plant element that we gained from Aid of Lesser Spirits, no, whatever that event was earlier, Lesser Spirits Imperiled, now allows us to play Bloodwater and Bloodlust instead of Wreck, which is, you know, less fear, but disease is really good here, so maybe it's fine. Let's event. The Frontier calls, we're still healthy. Explore actions add extra explorers. Yeah, that no longer annoys me so much. Lair in untamed lands. On each board add 1 beast to a land without bad things. Sure, let's just add it in land 6 because chances are we're gonna explore into there. Seek out new crowns. Gather 1 or 2 Dahan into lands without Dahan setup symbols. Without. Oh yeah. Let me do that. Into here. Can that come up? Yeah, I think they're equally likely to come up. Probably easier to do it into here though. So, and then let's hope the fear card saves us. It does not, but that is okay. So we go blighted then, so be it. Knowing that I get to push a couple of things, but I really don't want to push anything. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. So let's just not do anything here. And then let's Ravage. You need in the Ravages is land 2. And because of me not paying enough attention last turn, we actually do go blighted here. And also because not having enough fear and fear cards and whatnot. But what happens first is that they do 5 damage, defend for 3, so 1 Dahan dies, and then those 2 die in return. Actually, like the first Ravage is skipped. And then in build that happens. So we flip the Blighted Island card in build. Memory fades to dust. Sure, who cares? I can forget at least Gift of Twin Days next turn. And then I feel we had a fair shot at solving that. But sometimes you don't have it. Sometimes the event draws a blank, and that is fine too. We have to, what's it called? That effect, that mining boom. And we mining boom this land because we want a target for our Waters Renew, and you always want to Waters Renew into lands that are ravaging, right? So it's mountain, alright. So we get extra explorers this turn. And in land 4 we had a wilds. And then we explore actions. I guess that means that this affects the escalation, which I absolutely hate. But you know, what can you do? The options are either wetlands or sands. I guess land 7 is not so terrible. And then maybe land 1 is not so terrible. Because I'm going to reclaim, I can just draw out the towns maybe. Alright. Now we're in slow. We have Bloodwater and Bloodlust, and we have Swell and Spell. Let's start with Swell and Spell. That's 1 fear. We push out of here. Explorer, we push into here a Dahan, and we push into here a Beast. Killing that town. Good start, good start. And I still have open 1 push that I could use for presence if I wanted to. And you know, why not push that presence into here? Then I have Bloodwater and Bloodlust, which I don't want to use on here. So maybe I might just use it on there to do just regular normal disease things. I guess so. Kill that, and then this land is solved. I guess this could be a bad explorer. We will see. I have push off explorers out of mountains if I need it. Yeah, alright. And then I think we probably reclaim here, right? I mean, okay. So in theory, we could play this card and something like this card and set that to water. And then all we need to draft is a single water element card to hit full strength of Waters Renew. The downside is that this ravages in land 1. So instead of Bloodwater and Bloodlust, I would need to reclaim Draw to the Water's Edge. And now I need to hit a card that has water plus animal in order for that to work. So I guess we're reclaiming. Which, you know, fine. Gain 1 extra energy. We're not gonna get a major because we're gonna forget Gift of Twin Days this turn. I would not have hit a card that has animal or water, but I would have hit a couple of good animal and a couple of good water cards. So I could just defend here if I wanted to, although I have to gather the Dahan. Still, I mean, that is pretty good in here, right? I'll just gather everything into there. That is not bad either, though. Do I need the defend? I'll have 4 towns in here. I'll destroy a town, that will be 3 towns, and then I'll replace a town, that will be 2 towns, and I'll defend for 3, so I don't need anything there in terms of defend. Which means I'll probably take Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth here. It's not that defend is not better, it's that I don't need it, I guess. And if I don't need it, then I'd rather have proactive damage than reactive defend. I can play any card here, so maybe it's that. So the upside of playing Bloodwater and Bloodlust each turn is that disease is really good here, and the downside is that look at this field deck. I need to get to 4 plays. Really need that. Like yesterday. I'll hit that next turn. Alright. We forgot Gift of Twin Days, because we love forgetting. I guess we still, strictly speaking, do that after quick, but let's do quick first. We do that. We gather, we add a beast, we destroy a town, we replace a town with an explorer, we defend for 3. This turn, what I need from that land is not defend or anything. I need a not +1 damage event. And even if it blights, so be it, I have the blight. I just would have liked to stay healthy for, I guess, cosmetic reasons. Vision's out of time. I spawn the token. So I get to choose any of my 2... So let's read the card for a second. So the top side is, generally speaking, really bad, because you have to discard all of your cards. Wait, that is not the one, right? No, you have to forget a card usually. And you lose an energy to forget one card and get another card, and often I don't want to do that, so bottom option is mostly where I'm at. And that gives me 2 fear next turn after Ravage, but it ravages twice. And where does it ravage twice? On the single land with the most invaders on the board. That has not been chosen yet. So in single player, I'm the only person who chooses, and I get to choose out of all of my lands that have the most invaders. And I choose land 3. Because I have a bunch of lands with 2 invaders, and I can just choose that. And then 1 damage per beast. Beast payoff events are good. Eventually you'll hit. It might take a turn or 2, but eventually you will. And yeah, that's that. Didn't need it here, but I mean, I'll take it. And then the Omen triggers next turn for 2 fear. And then Strength from Trade. Lands with Dahan have defend 2, which I no longer need. In defense with buildings and no Dahan, ravage 2 more damage. Well, that could have been a +1 damage event, but I mean, it ended up not being that. Flee the Pestilent land. That is irrelevant to me. My only diseased land doesn't have any invaders. Supply chains abandoned. Isolate 1 land. Buildings are present, skip all build actions in that land. I guess we're doing it in here? Sure. Then let's ravage in all salt deposits first, but I don't have any mining lands, and then let's ravage in all jungles next, and we don't have any jungles, or at least no invaders in jungles, and then let's build, but this doesn't build because of the fear card, and this doesn't build because it's empty. Yeah, if there are buildings present, skip all build actions. So then we mining boom. And I wish I could mining boom here, so we could skip the build again, but we cannot. So let's mining boom at the coast. We want to get this pocketed ASAP, which, you know, probably not gonna happen this game, but we'll see. 1, 2, this is isolated, 3. Perhaps the best we could have gotten, because I think this is the lands we want to acting anyway. So one thing I could do is I could push all of that into land 6 here. But the issue with that is, of course, that if I push it into land 6, then land 6 doesn't have the adjacent to Han because of the weird way this board is shaped. I could kill a city in land 8. Is that relevant? Is that good? I only have 5 buildings on the board. If I kill all buildings, I win the game. I can, in the slow, probably kill a bunch of buildings, honestly. This can do 3 damage. So this could kill like a town, maybe. There's no adjacent city. Actually, this could also kill an adjacent city. This can also do 3 damage. So this could kill a city. Then these together could kill that city. Then then I would have used all of my slow powers though, and then next turn I would need to, in quick, kill this town and these. And while I could absolutely kill these with Water's Renew, I don't know what I would do with that. I mean, I could draw that into land 2, honestly. And would be funny if I could just kill it with Head of the Problem, with Visions Out of Time. I think I want to do that. I'm not sure it's good or the correct line of play or anything like that, but it's absolutely what I want to do. I want to win using the extra Ravage from Visions Out of Time. So let's do that. Pull beneath the Hungry Earth. Does 2 damage there, right? 1 damage baseline because of presence, and 1 because it's sands. Also 1 fear. And then Blood, Water, and Bloodlust. That is another fear. That city is dead. And then we one fear and Swaddle Spell in land 6. Push these two into here, we push that into here, we push that into, I don't know, here. So we pushed Dahan and 2 beasts into here, that is 3 damage as well. Kill that city. And then the slow phase is over. Time passes, we go to 4 place finally. And I don't know, draft some miner, because we really need more cards. We keep forgetting them so quickly. Place that in here, so I can reclaim and play Draw to the Water's Edge. Play that, which I've never played honestly, and then that maybe, I don't know. Take Gift of Nature's Connection because it's a good card, and then not play it, seems fair. 8. Actually, yeah, whatever. It doesn't actually hit my Swaddle Spell for the night, but who cares at this point. Alright, what happens is that I draw to the Water's Edge into land 2. I mean, there's a decent chance this fails, honestly, because you can never rely on Ravage. So maybe I shouldn't be so unconcerned with all the cards I'm playing, but I guess I am. I just don't see us losing the game. Even if I don't win in Ravage, I probably win in slow or next fast. Alright, so we push to Dahan and a beast that kills that town. Then we downgrade 1 invader, and then we replace that town with a Dahan. And yeah, they don't Ravage, but I mean, who cares at this point? I guess we're using Cycles of Time and Tide to add a Dahan to there, just to kill that Explorer, because fuck that guy. If I get a beast damage event, I guess these 2 live, but the rest of them will run. And then I need to either forget a card or destroy presence, and of course I'm gonna forget a card, because what else am I gonna do this game? It's my new hobby, forgetting cards. Numerous Crisis. I go bottom here, right? I don't wanna... I mean, who cares? I'll just go bottom. I'll return one of my presences to my tracks, sure. Who cares? And... or can I just pay 3 energy? No, I don't have that. I could forget more cards. Whatever. Whatever. Then 1 fear per board with disease. I have disease. And then the Hunt Defense. Each player removes a coastal town. I don't have to. Oh fuck, I have to. I really, really wanted to win using the Visions Out of Time Ravage in land 2. But I guess I'm not going to. I guess I'm going to remove it. And then I win the game. Terror level 2. Once the game notices. Alright. Turn 1 Italian Invader phase. Yeah, so... I have to say I didn't like the drafts this game. They weren't objectively terrible, but I kind of would have liked to see a little bit more animal action in the mid game. And a little more destruction. I think especially turn 3 felt really annoying. Hitting level 1 of both of my innates is, generally speaking, a feels bad moment. It was still, I think, the correct line of play, but I mean, still feels bad. Then I think the fact that we blighted here was avoidable. If I had noticed that slow before, then we could have set something up, I'm pretty sure, where we don't need to rely on fear cards or events to bail us out there. Maybe there was not even a line of play, I'm not exactly sure how the slow went, but presumably there was something we could have done. And then, yeah, it took a bit longer, honestly, to wrap up than if we had gotten the Water's Taste of Ruin in it, just because the fear was a bit slow. But the outcome, I think, is much the same. GG.